and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Okay, so with all the video segments that I'm going to be playing here, it is going to present our president in a very negative light. And even if it's 1 minute or 10 seconds or 30 seconds or 2 minutes, I can assure you that people are going to be talking. And anything that's posted on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc., it's going to, have people talking about the president and his cognitive ability and whether or not he can be an effective leader. And to the Democrats, I just want to use this quote from Napoleon, and if I get it wrong, I do apologize, but never correct your enemy when they are making a mistake. And Democrats, you have made plenty of mistakes, a lot of mistakes. It's your own fault that you led yourselves to this position of having Biden be your uncontested nominee. So let's talk about it, because apparently in these various press conferences, Biden struggles through a non-answer on the Israel-Gaza war. And he sounds half alive. This is our president, folks. This is going to be uncomfortable to look at and watch.
War in Gaza has killed more than 11,000 Palestinians in just over a month and created a humanitarian disaster. Israeli officials have said this war could take months or even years. Have you communicated to Prime Minister Netanyahu any sort of deadline or time frame for how long you are willing to support Israel in this operation? Are you comfortable with the operation going on indefinitely? And is there any deal under?
He doesn't even look like he's there. This is how you lose respect. And to anyone that promoted this in 2020, you have to live with this. All this uncertainty, all this instability. It's because of people's blind hatred of Donald Trump. And look, Donald Trump is no saint. And I will be talking about Donald Trump. No, not in this negative mainstream media light, but more of how mainstream media is once again using the tried and true method of Trump derangement syndrome. But that's for that next segment that I will be covering. But look at our president, Joe Biden. Half alive.
Underway to free hostages. Thank you.
Yes, no, working backwards, forward. Look, I have been deeply involved in moving on the hostage negotiation. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here because I don't know what's happened in the last 4 hours. But
what more can I say that hasn't been said already? And I know corporate media and a lot of vote blue, no matter who people are going to try and spin this and say, well, the president is very busy. This is very stressful. I get it. But everyone in 2020 was promoting this man as being the end all, be all answer to Trump. An effective leader, a seasoned politician. But no, Biden's been on the wrong side of history. He has a political history of being a corporatist. And his mental decline is out there for everyone to see.
We've gotten great cooperation from the Qataris. I've spoken with them as well a number of times. I think the pause and that the Israelis have agreed to, it's down to, I'm getting too much detail. I know, Mr. Secretary, I'm going to stop.
The secretary works for you. Anthony Blinken works for you. All right. Last I checked, president, king, prime minister, emperor, those are the bosses, right? Number one in charge. Even if let's say the secretaries or advisors have some sort of influence and heavy power over said executive, right? Politics 101, dare I say, maybe this is more of an advanced class. You don't say in front of other ears, in front of the court, in front of the press, in front of everyone, oh yes, I'll keep quiet, Mr. Secretary, I'm sorry. Let's just rewind that for you all to hear. Is Biden in charge? Is he truly in charge?
I'm getting too much detail. I know, Mr. Secretary, I'm going to stop. But
I know, Mr. Secretary, I'm going to stop. Hold on. But here's Biden even struggling. When he's calling upon reporters. As someone who's seen their own relatives go through a decline, a mental decline, this is very difficult for me to talk about and watch. And I'm pretty sure all of you have seen this too, but this man is supposed to be the leader of the free world. He needs to step down. I agree with David Axelrod. Look, I'm not going to vote Democrat, but seriously, Democrats, if you want to have any shred of dignity left, you know what you have to do. You all know what you have to do. But then again, maybe Democrats and liberals like to be humiliated like this. Maybe they're secretly getting off on this. I don't know. All I know is I would be humiliated if I was part of the administration or team or campaign associated with Joe Biden.
I'm embarrassed. I think it's CBS, but I can't remember who is CBS. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Gets worse. Where he looks at a list of people that he's supposed to call on.
Now I'd like to be able to take some questions. And I'm told that Dimitri of the Financial Times has the first question.
You're not supposed to really read the script. You're just supposed to say the name, Financial Times, or point at somebody. You're supposed to remember their names, their faces, what they're supposed to look like. And even at the same press conference, Biden goes on and goes off tangent. A script right here.
I guess I shouldn't identify where it occurred, but John, I know two people near where I live. Their kids literally, as I said, strange, they woke up dead.
They woke up dead. Now, when I clip this, I will be raising up the volume to this. I apologize if any of you can't hear this, but just so all of you know, Joe Biden went off script today. He told reporters that he knows two people whose kids woke up dead after overdosing.
Strange, they woke up dead. Some of that inserted in, whether the young man did or not, inserted in a drug he was taking, fentanyl. Again, I hope you don't have any experience with.
That's our president. But it gets worse. It continues on where he starts saying the quiet part loud. Perhaps maybe he's being advised. He's being advised by other people. Now, this is a different press conference. If you live in California, hey, how's Gavin Newsom treating your state? Rate your governor. Tell us. Don't hold back. If you live in California or escape from California or trying to escape from California, type in the comment section below about how epic and awesome Gavin Newsom is. Because here's where Biden says the quiet part loud.
I want to talk about Governor Newsom. I want to thank him. He's been one hell of a governor, man. Matter of fact, he could do anything you want. He could have the job I'm looking for.
He can have my job. So now let's move on to the final third press conference event that took place. The kind of which where, geez Louise, a part of me would be embarrassed if I was to be Secretary Blinken right now, okay? Because you're associated with this. This is your career, and you got to be sick to your stomach. You got to be stressed out. But first, let's talk about it. Now, Politics 101 is not only dealing with, domestic issues, but also, hey, you also have to deal with world leaders as well. And apparently Biden went off script. Biden calling Xi Jinping a dictator after critical summit. So after rattling off a list of perceived agreements made with Chinese President Xi Jinping, President Biden on Wednesday once again called his counterpart a dictator, a move that's likely to agitate already fraught relations between the two powerhouse economies. Look, and I know we all have our opinions about various world leaders, but if you're a politician, I think it's important to show some respect to your equal in other countries, be they a dictator, or a prime minister or a king or a tyrant, anything like that. You got to have a little bit of respect. But when it comes down to the Chinese president, he is the president of China. Look, he's a dictator. That's the popular word for today. He's a dictator in the sense that he's a guy who runs a country that is a communist country that is based on a form of government totally different from ours, Biden told reporters. Now, how did that work for Biden? How did that work for reporters? Well, first things first, let's play this video of Biden looking like he's about to fall asleep and Blinken looking like he's about to cry. I know this is tough to watch. This is the president. He already looks asleep.
Respect each other, coexist in peace, and pursue win-win cooperation, they will be fully capable of rising above differences and find the right way for the two major countries to get along with each other. I firmly believe in a promising future.
I want to see. I want to see if maybe he's looking at a piece of paper. But there's no way you could tell me that this doesn't look like he's not sleeping. Sleepy Joe Biden.
Of the bilateral relationship. Mr. President, you and I, we are at the helm of China-U.S. relations.
Blinken, oh my God, he's probably kicking Biden to stay awake, you know?
We shoulder heavy responsibilities, respect each other.
So, here's where it happens. Blinken's probably want to crawl in a hole.
President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that we used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is a guy who runs a country that is...
There's Blinken. Right there. Wanted to crawl into a hole. I don't feel sorry. I'd just be humiliated if that was me. If that was my job. I'd have to look myself in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm part of this administration. What am I doing with my life?
Communist country that's based on a form of government totally different than ours.
And remember that previous video that I played? Well, here's the same video with the aftermath of the Biden press team and Biden staff pushing out the entire press out of the office.
We're walking out. Everyone start walking out. Thank you so much. Everyone's got to head out. Everyone's got to head out. Everyone's heading out this way. Thank you so much. Pick it up and heading out that way, guys.
I could tell he's under stress. I know this face. I think we all know what kind of face this is. And I'm just circling around it. That is the face of a man who is depressed, stressed, angry, disappointed, humiliated. Because how do you go on knowing that there's going to be an election next year? And as it stands, the Democrats are all in for Joe Biden. In these previous videos, let's have democracy in the chat. Let's ask you, the audience, does this inspire confidence in you? Does this earn your vote? Type 1 for, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Kit. This will secure my vote for Biden. I'm going to be on Team Biden 100%. Type 2, no, he never had my vote, and I'm humiliated that I even voted Democrat in the past. This is not how you run a country. Democrats, you've had a huge amount of time to really make a decision on how 2024 will play out. And I do remember Biden saying that he was going to be a one-term president. I remember that. I think we all do. 2024. It's not going to be the most important election year because it won't. It'll be interesting. It'll be hilarious. And I encourage all of you not to invest too much of your time into the electoral politics because overall, we're going to see a Biden versus Trump match, which is two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup.
Get up, heading out that way. Get up and heading out. Thank you so much. Everyone's heading out this way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone's moving out. Thank you.
Now, I don't know what to take away from this. I really don't know how to really end this kind of segment. All I can say is when you have the president fail and stumble in regards to asking questions to the press, or either that answering the press and even apologizing to the secretary or any of his advisors. I mean, we've seen him go on stage before and say, I shouldn't talk too much or I'll get in trouble. Do they yell at Biden? Do they push him around? I really have to know. Is there some form of elder abuse taking place within the Oval Office? Something's not adding up. I'm having a sense of dread. Now, I try not to sympathize too much with politicians because they are the ones who are making our lives miserable. They're the ones implementing foreign and domestic policies that will haunt us for the years to come. They're the ones that have a six-figure salary, gold-plated healthcare, and other wonderful social benefits. But I have to wonder, overall, the people in charge of this country, who's really leading who? Is it just a snake pit of vipers hissing and biting at each other? This is what's supposed to represent us. This is what's supposed to help make our lives easier. No wonder more and more Americans are identifying themselves as independents, or dare I say it even further, are no longer being engaged in electoral politics. This is what causes it. Lackluster parties and lackluster politicians. Brace yourselves for 2024. It's only going to get worse, but you can hang out with Hard Lens Media. We could laugh at it together, and hopefully, maybe there could be some sanity. But it comes from the people, and that's where citizen ballot initiatives comes into play, and why we need to make all of our states citizen ballot initiative states, because we're not going to get any help or hope from politicians. We're only going to get ourselves out of this by working together and taking the initiative and step of actually taking back our democracy. Citizen ballot initiatives, it's the way to go.